Hey everybody, great to see everyone out there. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, we're back. We're back at Untermyer Park. We're doing a special one today for you guys. We're doing a double whammy. We're doing a little gardening, and we're gonna be doing more Son of Sam. Yes, yes, yes. So what are we doing today? Well, we're gonna be talking a little bit about something that I never got to during the main portion of our video series. Although we did talk about it in passing many times, and that topic is Untermyer Park had absolutely nothing to do with Son of Sam. So anyway, let's just go in today. Beautiful May day today, mid-spring. Gorgeous beech trees, as we always love to see. This little nice shade area here, where we got the emerging Solomon seal. And we got the Prunus laurocerasus, which are in bloom. Beautiful, very fragrant. Those will turn into like cherry-like fruits. So we got all the kitties here. We're graduating. Beautiful beech trees. And it's nice that they're planted in a pair because beeches love beeches. Beautiful oak leaf hydrangea. Oh, Fothergilla. This is another beautiful fragrant shrub for the mid-spring. Gorgeous, works really well in shade and sun. Fothergilla, yes. So yeah, so we're back up here in our old stomping grounds, and I wanted to make this a dedicated video because I'm just trying to clean up again, more MMB, more Maury bullshit. And of course, one of his biggest lies in The Ultimate Evil was that there was a satanic cult at Untermyer Park that was connected to Son of Sam. And of course, in his series of articles for the Westchester newspapers, that was one of the headlines. And let me tell you, we're still paying for that headline to this day. It's insane. Wow, look at the wisteria. Normally I don't like wisteria, but very nice controlled specimen here, and that's the key, controlled. Real nice annuals here for so early in the season. Beautiful pergola with some wisteria on it. And it looks like they already brought out their annuals for the summer. I guess they're not worried about a freeze. Probably don't need to worry about a freeze. Oh, look at this, this azalea. Bunch of azaleas, full bloom. That looks like a new plant right there, although I can't be sure. Chamaecyparis of some sort, obtusa. Let's see if there's a plant tag. Ah, the red bud. The red bud is quickly receding its flower. The Cercis canadensis. And of course, let's take a look up close. These flowers come right out of the trunk. Very interesting looking tree. Beautiful spring flower. And here we see it with an azalea. That's super nice. So, of course, the whole myth of satanic cult involvement in Son of Sam, it emerged from basically what Berkowitz said it was. Erroneous information and basically confusion. And how did it start? How did Maury connect this place to Son of Sam? Well, it was like a 15-year-old teenager that brought him to the park here and said, hey, there's a satanic cult that's been operating here, and they've been in here for quite a while. And of course, Maury, that got his hackles up because he'd already thought that Berkowitz was part of a cult. So in his mind, he just connected the two immediately without any thought or analysis. And of course, let's not forget that he got his information from a 15-year-old. Okay, that's how this whole thing started. A 15-year-old teenager meets Maury Terry in Untermyer Park, tells him that there's some Satanists here, and all of a sudden David Berkowitz is associated with them. And now 40, 50 years later, the Maurons, M-A-U-R-O-N-S, are still out there with their stupid claptrap about, oh, Untermyer Park, Son of Sam. complete crap. We'll talk about it why in a few minutes. So here's, of course, the Temple of Medusa, or whatever, Temple of the Sky. Very famous spot for all y'all out there. And of course, we've been to Untermyer Park a million times. To those of you who've been with me the whole time, this is old stuff. And of course, I've been coming to this park since the 90s. We took pictures here, me and Mike Schiff in 97. Took pictures of this thing right here, pictures against the wall here, against the pillars, and so on and so forth. So, been coming up here for a long, long time. And of course, until fairly recently, I always thought that this place was where David Berkowitz practiced Satanism with Son of Sam and the 22 Disciples of Hell. Get the hell out of here. Anyway, there's some nice lilacs down there. I don't think we can see them though. Oh, if I go down this way, we can. Let's take a look at some of these flowers. I'm not even sure what this is. Maybe there's a plant tag I can go check out down there. Again, not every gardener knows every plant. It's just not possible. So many different types of plants out there. Well, I don't see a plant tag. Here's a good example of how not to prune a hydrangea. So you see here, it's just there's probably just too much to do here and too few gardeners. But you should periodically come out to check out your hydrangeas after a while and see where they're growing up to, and then cut the tips off. It's just a visual thing. It doesn't have anything to do with the health of the plant, really. It just looks better if you do that. Quite often hydrangeas will die almost to the ground anyway, every year. So anyway, that's that. What do we got here? Again, they should put more plant tags because I don't know what the hell's going on here. There's some sort of viburnum, maple leaf viburnum of some sort, starting to flower. Very pretty. Nice plant here. And so here again, like more, here's a great example of that hydrangea that I was talking about. See how like most of it's dead, but it's emerging from the middle, from the ground right there. Okay. And again, there's nothing too hard about knowing this stuff. Here's another example. It's just a matter of having the experience with these plants. So here's a great example. So the hydrangea, right? Like I'd cut it all the way. I'd cut it down into here. But in either case, you see it's growing up here a little bit, but still superfluous. I would cut that down. Let's see here, looks like a witch hazel. Yeah, it's a witch hazel. Totally out of flower by now. This thing is very early. Flowers very early. Let's see the viburnums over here. It's probably very fragrant. So I promise we're going to talk more about David Berkowitz and Son of Sam a little bit. No fragrance whatsoever. And here's some of the lilacs, which of course are extremely fragrant. Everything is early this year because of the abnormally warm couple of weeks we had at the beginning of the spring. Yeah, everything is coming in nicely. Lilacs are kind of on their way out. Check out this one, nice. Beautiful, let me smell it. Real nice. Ooh, can I just get in there and see this Miss Kim? Thanks. This is called a Miss Kim lilac. Not quite fragrant yet, but super nice. Yeah, so we've been paying for this stupid legacy of Maury Terry, not only his dumb book, The Ultimate Evil, which is basically full of myths, distortions, lies, half-truth, manipulation, bullying, abuse, which is, of course, was Maury's MO. Not only did he do that to the story, but he also did that to the people and personalities involved. There must be some teenagers here. Must be some sort of graduation or something, I don't know. Ooh, what are these right here? Some form of bulb, not quite sure what, but these are super nice. Wow, look at that. Great color. Great, oh wow. It's a killer color combination. Whatever this is here, I'm not sure what it is, but with this elderberry nigra, black elderberry. Wow, what a color combination that is. Just really, really pretty. All right, let's head down and see some of these sites of Satanism, which of course everybody who's been with me the whole time, you've seen this a million times, but beautiful day and I wanted to get out here and get a walk in. So, a 15-year-old teenager tells Maury that there's Satanists worshiping here, and he immediately does what he does and connects it somehow or other to David Berkowitz. And why'd he do that? Because of the Breslin letter, which he says were allusions to the aqueduct and Satanism and black magic and all that kind of stuff. But not really the case. Basically, the deal with Untermyer Park is very, very simple. Hold on. The famous 1,000 Steps with their very, very impressive cryptomeria hakanakloa combination. And of course, a lot of people believed in Maury Terry's BS because the simple fact is that he did what he did. He did the Maury special. He conflated two totally separate phenomena and put them together into one. See, in here, we've shown a million times. I don't even know if we're gonna be able to see it today, but there's a pentagram in there. I didn't bring my, I did not bring my, yeah, maybe we can see it. I didn't bring my, there it is. I didn't bring the flashlight, but it's in black, covered around. Let's see if we can get it again. Yeah, it's basically straight there. You can see it. Right, so Maury had the perfect backdrop to his bullshit story. He had this park that was filled with satanic graffiti. So he could use that, of course, to bolster his argument, and we didn't know any better, quite frankly. We, as Son of Sam researchers, were all beholden to Maury's story, or the official story, and that was it, okay? And both are woefully inadequate. The official story is the closest to the truth, of course. Disco Dave did it alone, he had no help, there was no cult, he only knew the cars mystically, he didn't really know them, he found them in the phone book, all that kind of stuff. Actually, that's not even the official story. The official story is that he was told to do it by a dog. And then, of course, you have Maury's story, which is an international satanic cult consisting of hundreds of people, somehow or other came up with the Son of Sam crimes. But instead of doing them with professional assassins, right, and all that kind of stuff, they chose a 24-year-old guy who was basically mentally ill to be their main henchman. I mean, it's ridiculous on its face. But there was Satanism going on in Untermyer Park. We walked around with plenty of people in this park. You'll remember the first one was Tommy, who saw the Satanists. Then we walked around with Byrne, who saw dead dogs in the Gatehouse, which we'll come to in a few minutes. We walked around with Mr. E, who as a child in the 80s saw dozens of satanic rituals, found tons of dead animals in here, carcasses of all sorts of weird stuff. Turtle, a cow, of course, plenty of dogs. And he witnessed these people. He eyewitnessed them. He saw them come in. So, of course, beautiful cryptomeria and hakanakloa. Yes, 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 yes. Great color combination. So of course, to the Mauron set, right, M-A-U-R-O-N, these stories of seeing dead dogs in Untermyer Park, it's proof that David Berkowitz was involved with John Carr. Right? First of all, I don't see how you can connect that, how you can say that just because Satanism was happening here, it means that David Berkowitz was involved with John Carr. I mean, logic doesn't mean anything to the moron, right? M-A-U-R-O-N. And it's painfully obvious now that we've done this research and we've presented this information to the world. There were Satanists here in Untermyer Park. They were different levels of them. You had elite guys, richer guys, middle-aged, doing their thing down in the Gatehouse. They were the ones sacrificing animals. The right around here was where the Devil's Cave was. Right, somewhere beyond these things. It's no longer there, so we're not even going to bother walking over there. And then you had teenagers hanging out in the Devil's Cave. You had heavy metal people. I mean, all sorts of groups were hanging out here. None having anything whatsoever to do with David Berkowitz. He had no friends. He wasn't capable of sustaining relationships. But all of a sudden we're to believe he was in criminal conspiracy with at minimum 21 other people who all kept their mouths shut over these years. Oh, that's right, I forgot. They were all murdered mysteriously after Berkowitz's arrest. Guys, it's a fantasy. It's ridiculous. We need to have more intelligence when we're dealing with these things. Berkowitz was not a member of a satanic cult, and he had nothing to do with this place whatsoever. Beautiful pillars, so on and so forth. Absolutely gorgeous. We'll go up to the we'll go over the edge here.
Sorry.
So of course the famous vista of the Hudson River, the mighty Hudson. So quite a few people here. I don't like talking in front of too many people, especially this weird satanic shit. Oh look, they're doing some work here in the herb garden, I guess. Or maybe they're doing food, I don't know. Looks like they're doing some form of vegetable with cabbages, and looks like some asparagus in there. Brussels sprouts. Chives. Nice. So they're doing this as like a herb garden, edible garden, but with a design. That's kind of cool. Let's head down to the Gatehouse.
Take a fancy picture, and then we're going to climb up the stairs.
So of course here is where the Gatehouse is, right down there. And that's the spot where Mr. E saw all the elitists, rich people coming in. They parked their car right down there. That's the Aqueduct Trail. That goes north and south. If you go south about a mile, you'll hit the Wicker Street area, Pine Street area. If you go north about not even a quarter of a mile, you'll hit Odell Avenue. That's where the cars came in. They would drive the vehicles, not the Carr family. Remember, the Carr family had nothing to do with whatsoever with Son of Sam, except catching Berkowitz. They were the heroes of Son of Sam. It's amazing how we have to do this remedial work just to overcome MMB, more Maury bullshit. So that's where they would park, right down there. They'd come in, they'd do their thing in the Gatehouse, which back then looked the same, except tons and tons of just scrub and brush and trees everywhere. I used to be able to get down there just by going down this way. which you can't do anymore. But this used to be just all trees everywhere. Whoops. Tree, I didn't realize the mother was letting her kid go to the bathroom right there. So anyway, let's head down there and take a look. So if you're a low information, low intelligence person, it's easy to see these connections where you want to pretend that they exist, right? Oh, the Breslin letter was an allusion to the aqueduct, and the aqueduct rode by Untermyer Park, and there were satanistic language in it, and a 15-year-old told me that Satanists hung out here, so therefore Berkowitz was involved with a satanistic crew. It makes no sense. Just say it to yourself a bunch of times, like go through that whole logical process, right, in your head of trying to make sense of Maury's stuff. There's no logic there, and there's certainly no actual actionable evidence that you could use in a court of law that would prove anything. And that's the only thing that matters. Beautiful. We've been walking by here for a couple of years now, and they've been redoing this place. If you look at my first videos on Untermyer, walking here with Byrne, none of this was here. So it's kind of cool to see this updated here. Very great little woodland garden they built here. I always say, even though they didn't hire me to be their lead gardener, which was which was a mistake, although the guy knows what he's doing, I will concede that, they are doing a great job. Appropriate planting, seasonal plantings, anything that's in the shade is supposed to be there. Ligularia, azaleas, beautiful azaleas. Something smells so good. Something smells like gardenia. I wonder what that is. That's a tropical smell. We shouldn't be smelling that at this time of year. I'm very curious as to what this is. Anyway, so, interesting, they have a Viburnum pragense there. Maybe that's an Allegheny. No, that looks like a pragense.
I was just watching your video.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. About Son of Sam, right?
Oh, cool. You got something in your hair, bro.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just watching your video, and you helped me get here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's cool.
I was just watching your video. And
Which one? Manny?
Right,
oh, I was saying goodbye to Son of Sam.
Yeah.
I'm doing another little Son of Sam video today, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You're getting back to it?
A little bit, yeah.
That's what's up.
It's cool.
Yeah, because I'm doing a report, too.
You're doing what?
A report about Son of Sam.
Oh, no shit. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I hope you realize that the video I'm doing today is all about how Son of Sam had nothing to do with this place.
Really?
Yeah. So, so you've only seen one video of mine?
Yeah.
Okay, because we've been doing this for 2 years.
Yeah, so.
And we originally thought that David Berkowitz came here and worshipped the devil and all that. It's nothing, it's a complete lie. I mean, do your report, but it had nothing, this place had nothing to do with David Berkowitz.
They made it seem like he was here.
There were people hanging out here in the Gatehouse, and they were worshiping the devil, and they were sacrificing animals. This took place from the 1950s to the 1990s.
Yeah.
I walked around with people who saw dead dogs, all sorts of shit here.
Yeah.
But they weren't friends with Berkowitz. They had nothing to do with him. He was a mile down the road doing his thing down there.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't want to blow up your spot. I appreciate you watching the video. But yeah, I would be very careful making any connections between Berkowitz and Son of Sam, because it's not true.
All right, cool.
All right.
Thank you, man.
Berkowitz didn't worship here with a satanic cult.
Parkway.
He didn't do that anywhere. He was just hanging out alone in his apartment on Pine Street.
Yeah, but I've seen his own testimony, his own.
He's full of shit. The cult story is a complete lie.
Whatever it was, the crimes he committed were
terrible,
diabolical.
But he did it all alone. It wasn't a cult. It wasn't accomplices. It was nothing like that.
Whether it's true or not, those things do exist, and they're bad.
Even here in this park, but it had nothing. But it had nothing to do with Berkey. See you later. All right. Anyway, so that's fun. So I just destroyed that kid's thesis. I feel bad. But, you know, we're all about historical accuracy. Apparently he only watched one of my videos. So this is the Gatehouse, of course. And this is where these people would hang out and kill dogs. Burn, saw a dead dog right here, 1976. All sorts of stuff like that going on in here. But again, nothing to do with David Berkowitz or Son of Sam. Complete lie. He was incapable of making friends and being with other people and all this stuff. And of course, here is a little house here. And then we got our pentagram up here, which they never removed. Let's see what plants they're using in here. So we got a Solomon seal, beautiful shade plant, pulmonaria, heuchera, hosta, of course, fern, hellebore, azalea. Whoops. More Solomon seal. Nice colors. Ooh, that's a nice color combination I want to find. I want to look at that a little deeper. This combination's great. The kind of grayish purple with the Hakanakloa. You know, if you read The Ultimate Evil, almost fell. If you read The Ultimate Evil, he also came to the conclusion that the process was involved with Son of Sam because of some 29-year-old researcher named Larry Jacobs. Like, who the hell's Larry Jacobs, right? Larry Siegel. I called it Siegel's Folly. Ooh, there's a unicorn here, so therefore there must be some symbolic evidence that David Berkowitz was involved with Satanism. Ooh, as a lion, one time the Rockefellers liked the lions, so therefore there was a cult here. I mean, it's the stupidest shit. And the effed up thing is that we all fell for it. Right? We all fell for this crap. I was talking with John Catalano the other day, and he was like, if I had $1 for all the time I spent arguing with people about the cult, I'd be a rich man by now. And I have to say, I concur. I was once a moron, I admit it. In fact, that's why we started this video series in the first place. Because I was out to show the cult sites of Son of Sam. Complete crap. So I know what probably some morons who are watching this are saying, well, how can you say it's complete crap, man? How do you know your story is true? Well, okay, fair argument. So prove your story. Find me independent research showing David Berkowitz was involved with the process. Actually, I'll make it easier for you. Prove to me that he was involved with John Carr. Make it a little harder. Prove to me that he was involved with Michael Carr, right? Prove to me that Michael and John Carr were up in Untermyer Park, worshiping Satan, right? It's ridiculous. None of Maury Terry's logic, quote, logic makes any sense. It's just all what I call, you know, the last name method of research, which is if someone has the same last name as someone else, they're guilty.
So I went to a rental place that was like,
Anyway, I thought I would have more to say on the subject, really, but I'm kind of at a loss because how much more can we say about this crap? right? David Berkowitz, the only cult that he mentions in his entire life is there's two of them. There's the Wicker Street Cult, or the Wicker Street Gang, right? But it's actually, he calls it the Wicker Street Cult. And then there's the Carr Gang, right? Which John Wheat belonged to. And of course he called him John Wheat because he found his name in the phone book. Once you realize all this stuff, you can never really look at this cult thesis the same again. Okay? But who did he come up here with? Where was the meeting? Who was there? What were the roles of each individual conspirator with him in Son of Sam? What were their names? Okay, what forensic evidence do you have to prove any of this? Because I got plenty of evidence to prove my point. Okay, I've shown you how he learned how to write in that auxiliary, that block fashion in the auxiliary police files. I showed you how for months prior to the printing of the Breslin and Borelli letters, he was using the same terminology in his letters in his apartment, proving again that he's perfectly capable of the mindset to create the letters and to create the terminology. Oh, but oh yeah, I forgot. He had help. Okay, all right, well, who helped him? Prove prove the group that helped him. Show me how any of these people helped him. I don't know how you're gonna do it, okay? Because you can't use Maury's book as proof. We've already shown how Maury was a stone cold liar of the first order. I mean, a pathetically bad liar. So a lot of people actually wanted to see this area. This was a kind of like broken up and abandoned in our old series. And so they redid this. We used to be able to go in here and it was like this weird acoustic phenomenon. And of course, this was the circle that people thought Berkowitz did his chanting at. Gotta be kidding me. He was just spewing Maury's bullshit back to him. He knew exactly what Maury wanted to hear. He just played along. Actually, if you read his letters to Abrahamson, and even before that, letters to other people, he was using the same exact arguments and terms in those letters to them that he ended up using to Maury later on. He was talking about, oh, you need to prove that I'm sane first, and nobody will believe you because I'm a madman. He said that to Maury, and then he said the same thing to people before Maury. So he was just looking for someone to troll, essentially. Someone who would pay attention to him, which is what he loved. He loved attention. So where are we heading now? Well, we're heading up to the cross in the tree. Because remember, Untermyer Park should be considered its own sociological phenomenon. This place was dark. This place had Satanists. This place had people sacrificing animals and killing animals. If you believe some of the stories circling around the whole Son of Sam case, this was where child prostitutes from 42nd Street would be trafficked by Ace the Hinge Brown, and they'd be killed up here in rituals and sacrifices. And so, of course, the cross on the tree is related to that. And this is a weird thing, the cross on the tree, because, of course, I first heard about it as an urban myth. We were walking around with Byrne, and she talked to us about how there was a guy creating crosses, Xing them into trees, carving them into trees, and how they were supposedly the sites where kids were killed, or sacrifices, or rituals were going on, or kids were raped. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of strange how the Son of Sam community has a weird fascination and interest in the raping of children. You know, like, I don't know. I've never been interested in that as a subject. I guess I got into it through the whole Son of Sam thing, but it's not really something that I want to think about too much or discuss, and it certainly doesn't have anything to do with David Berkowitz whatsoever. But we ended up finding it, and here it is, the cross on the tree. So we were told this existed somewhere in the park. It took about a year to find through different groups, and all actually kind of related to this whole urban myth that there are bodies buried here. We walked around with a guy named the Caveman, who in retrospect was one huge troll. He said that Berkowitz and John Carr hung out here, he witnessed them and all that kind of stuff. And I think in retrospect we were being totally fooled by that guy. But he did live in the park, and just because he lied about one thing, in my opinion, doesn't mean he lied about everything. And he was talking to us about how there were bodies buried here, how he heard there were bodies buried here. So if you look at it in such close proximity to the cross on the tree, well, we heard there were bodies buried by the cross on the tree. Caveman, who didn't know about the cross on the tree, he brought us here, so there were bodies here. Then we had Craig Fitzgerald talk to us about his mother's boyfriend, Pat the Clown, who said that he rerouted a stream right by where the bodies were buried, or there were bodies buried. And this is a stream right here. And of course, it's right next to the cross on the tree. So the whole phenomenon of Untermyer Park as evil and dark, we need to take it out of the realm of Son of Sam. Okay, Son of Sam had nothing to do with Untermyer Park. Untermyer Park had nothing to do with Son of Sam. But having said that, Untermyer Park was a very, very spooky place with a shitload of urban myths and also realistic sightings, because we have them on tape, of various satanistic, ritualistic activity taking place in this park. From everything from sacrificing animals to the outright rape, torture, and killing of children in these parks, in these woods right here. So, of course, the only thing that I can say for sure relating to all that stuff, because again, I wasn't there and I don't know whether it's true, we do have too many stories of witnessing satanistic rituals and dead animals in the park. I don't think that those are lies, okay? But the only thing that I can really say is that we found that cross in the tree, and it's a very curious and interesting discovery given the urban myths that we heard about this place, the urban legends. But as far as Berkowitz, zero to do with this place. Sorry, morons. So now we're heading up to the Temple of Love, which will check out the plantings, and we will see what's going on. I'm not going to even speak because it's just insanely steep hill. Obviously the tulips, the daffodils were out in force a couple weeks ago. Oh, it's Mr. Williams' Hole. Again, no proof that it was ever called Mr. Williams' Hole. Oh, but what about Billy the artist? He drew people here. He did? I don't know that to be the case. Those drawings all look like pictures to me from photographs. Ken is a picture is drawn from a photograph. Mr. Real Estate is Mr. Creepy from Creepy Magazine. Maury never thought we'd find this shit out. And he basically lied with impunity. Oh yeah. to Tony Astor. Beautiful maple. Absolutely gorgeous plant, wow. We've seen this a million times, but it's really nice seeing it this time of year. And a great combination with this Phlox subulata. See the slightly yellow green chartreusey with the purple. Really great. And look at this, they threw this in here as a little combo. There's a design canon, the rule of threes, right? Always design with odd numbers. The rule of odds, and so we have here 1, 2, 3. Hey guys, go ahead. So we have this plant here, and the maple here. And if this wasn't here to tie it together, you would actually kind of feel it intuitively. Pinus mugo. Ligularia. More, actually, you know, it's funny, I blanked on this last year and I'm blanking on it this year. I want to say this is Heuchera, but I know it isn't. Brunera, however you want to pronounce it. B-R-U-N-N-E-R-A. So I got it wrong in the other place too, Brunera. Here we have Sarcococa, beautiful evergreen shrub, very low to the ground, great ground cover. More Fothergilla. So again, you know, most of this garden is a woodland, considered a woodland. So the woodland motif really works. Beautiful Ligularia with the Brunera. The blue really works really nicely with this color. Epimedium. Oh, epimedium's in flower. So just some cautionary tales. There's a lot of people out there, of course, who still believe in Maury's story, and they're mainly good people. They're just ignorant of our video series. They don't realize the work we've done. But there are a couple of people, a couple of video series out there, and I'm not going to name them. These fools know who they are. Even though they know, they know that the cult story is bullshit, just basically out of spite. They're still holding on to this crap. And so I would just caution you guys to just be aware of where you're getting your information from. You know, if you want to listen to someone saying that my dad's the head of Operation Mockingbird, well, there's not much I can do to help you other than to say that you're being lied to completely. It's hilarious. But there are still people out there who are pulling the BS about the Breslin letter, having hidden coded meetings and esoterica and all this stuff. Just think of how much stuff would have to be true in order for those analyses to make sense. Berkowitz would have to be an expert in media, literature, occult studies, gematria, numerology, astrology. He would have to be a world expert in all that stuff in order for any of that crap to be true. I just prefer to think of it much more simply. He was a smart guy who was pretty well versed in occult knowledge in the sense that he read a lot of books. And he was a smart guy and a very good writer who was able to put words together really well and come up with imagery that was actually quite spooky and eerie. And he was great at it. If you read his letters to Abrahamson, excellent writer. So the Breslin letter, Borelli letter, they're in his handwriting. He wrote them. Again, not even arguable at this point. So I would just caution you, like, don't waste your time with anyone other besides us. And also these guys doing the Killer Tape podcasts, the Jack Jones and Bill Badgley. Excellent work. I cannot recommend it enough. And of course, we're going to be having them on our live stream pretty soon. By the time you see this, it'll be very soon that we have them on. And those of you who are seeing this in a year from now, whenever, just go and search for that interview. I'm sure it was a great one. And those guys are doing the only serious work besides us in the Son of Sam space at this point. Why? Because we're all beyond Maury Terry. Okay, we're beyond this crap. And it's a great liberating place to be because we're not burdened by having to prove or disprove any of his stuff anymore. It's just irrelevant. It's crap from the past. I came out here to Untermyer Park to do this today just for fun. I didn't need to do it. It didn't have to be done. It just was something that I kind of wanted to do because I didn't have anything else to do today. But, and I'm hoping you're enjoying the video, the sights and all that kind of stuff, the sounds. Too bad you can't get the smells because they're amazing. But we're beyond Maury Terry. And of course, now the analysis, such as it needs to be done, it has to be on Disco Dave himself. And so that's why I'm very excited about the Killer Tape podcast, because all of a sudden now we have all these new audio tapes that we can analyze, and we can also cross-reference with the Abrahamson letters to see that this guy told the entire story by 1980. His motivations, his life, what led him to do everything, his thought patterns, the actual details of the crime. It was all done 7 years before Maury Terry came out with his bullshit tome called The Ultimate Evil. So just beware out there. Be careful where you get your information from. There's still a lot of people who are SOS, stuck on stupid. And there are just people out there who are venal and corrupt and who want to keep the grift going. That the process was involved, that somehow or other Barry Dosenko, what the hell was Barry Dosenko? What did he have to do with any of this crap? But there are people who just can't give it up. You know, their whole life is conspiracy theory and the bullshit. And it's entertaining to watch. It's fun seeing, you know, lies about me and my family. It's just hilarious that people spend time doing that. But we're the only serious place, and the Killer podcast guys are the only serious place for real Son of Sam information. So we're back in a limited capacity, guys. I know I said goodbye to this a few months ago, and we are done with the active, heavy-duty investigation that we were doing. There's no reason for it anymore. Disco Dave did it. He did it alone. It's patently obvious to anybody with half a brain at this point. But we still have some loose ends to tie up, and this was one of them, this whole Untermyer Park Son of Sam. I wanted to give this its own dedicated video so people could search for it and see. And if you're interested in some of the topics I brought up in today's video, like Mr. E and the burn and the walkarounds I did with people who witnessed satanic activity here, it's all on my website, on my YouTube channel for you to see. Just search. I have the Untermyer Park series, I have the Victim series, I have Mr. E walks around Untermyer Park. It's all there, okay? And so that's why we didn't go too deep today, because again, I want my audience, my very smart and intelligent audience to actually do some work yourselves. So I've put in the time, I've done all the work for you guys. The research is there, the interviews are in the can, all there for you to see and hopefully to learn from. Because what we did together in true crime is historic. We finally and for once took conspiracy theory out of true crime. Okay, the two don't belong together in cases of this magnitude. All right, conspiracy exists. Conspiracy theories, quite a few of them. I'm down with you guys. I'm there on the bandwagon. Okay, you want to talk about 9/11, COVID? I'm with you. Oklahoma City. But when it comes to real crimes committed by real perpetrators who leave real forensic evidence that's investigated by real police, and there's a real arrest, and there's a real confession, well, it's time to really start realizing that, well, when it comes to the ultimate evil, we were conned. And we were conned big time. All right, guys, hey, thanks a lot for joining me today. I hope I see you guys soon out on the road, out on the trails. And that's basically it. See ya.